My name is Alyssa, and I have been cutting my own hair since 5th grade. And I'm gonna walk you through a 3-part series of what my process looks like. And I typically do this about every 3 months. It starts with a balayage and then a toning and then a cut. And so as you can see, my hair is really long. It has a lot of dead ends and a lot. So we're gonna start off with the balayage, and when I buy my bleach, I just go to the grocery store and pick one out that kind of matches the color and tone. If you look on the box, it'll have a scale and kind of before and afters. And this is what I landed on, the Feria Absolute Platinum. Other things I need include a mixing bowl. You could use what comes in the bleach kit, which it has its own container. And then well-fitting gloves. There's going to be gloves that came with the bleach, but I would save those for the toning, which will be my next video. And then beyond that, just a hairbrush and clips. And of course, a t-shirt that can be ruined. Go ahead and mix up that bleach per package instructions. I just do this in my own mixing bowl. And then brush out your hair so that there are no tangles, because my gosh, my hair tangles so bad, but we want it to be very smooth for this process. Then I'm gonna go ahead and clip up my hair into 4 different sections. My hair is pretty thick, so more or less depending on the thickness of your hair. And now it is time to do a final brushing of the section. Put on those gloves, and I grab the section between my thumb and the rest of my fingers and just apply the bleach with the brush. To get the underside, I flip it over and do the other side the same way. Then I'm going to use my finger to smooth it and make it more of a gradual transition from where we apply the bleach to the natural hair, just to try to get a more natural look where there's not a harsh line. I try to balance moving quickly through the bleaching process with also not making it rushed, because we do want the processing time for each layer to be as close as possible, but of course we also want to take our time and do it as well as possible. Once I finish, I'm going to wash my hands with soap and water with the gloves still on, so that way I can brush out the next section with clean hands. I also just take a moment to clean up any bleach that might have fallen on the ground. Really, it's the same process for the next section, so I'm going to divide it out in half. I'm going to brush out each half really well, and then I'm going to apply the bleach in a similar manner. But I might go up a little bit higher, and with each layer, go up a little bit so it gets higher towards my scalp as we get closer to the top of my head. I'm also going to do a little bit of framing around the face, and so the same technique or the same idea, but just using a less bleach and going a little bit closer towards my head on those pieces just right around my face. I'm gonna divide out the hair, we're gonna brush it, and then apply the bleach going just a little bit higher towards the scalp. The top level for me is always the scariest, because of course it is what is the most visible, and I don't want to do anything crazy, but here we go. It's essentially the same process here, but what I'm gonna do a little bit different is just choose a few strands to go higher than the rest, just to really try to blend out and not have any visible lines and have it look smooth and kind of sun-kissed and natural. That is my goal. Now, how well it happens, we will see, but that's always my goal. And I love the balayage technique because it's so not technical. I can do it myself without feeling terrified. And it doesn't require any maintenance because no bleach ever touches my roots. And that's so important to me that no bleach ever touches my roots, because if I don't have, the time, there's no real pressure to do it. I just like doing this periodically to kind of lighten up my hair, make it look more sun-kissed, make it look a little bit lighter. As you can see, all of the bleach is on. When I kind of pull my hair apart, you can tell why this looks a little bit more natural and blended, because a lot of the bleach is kind of on the outside of these chunks versus on the inside. There's, maybe where the bleach only is a third of the way down, or maybe the hair kind of wasn't really touched by bleach much at all. So that's why it comes out a little bit more blended and a little bit more natural. Okay, so let the bleach sit on your hair as long as the instructions describe. Once it's done, wash it out. And this is what my hair looks like wet. As you can tell, there's definitely lighter pieces mixed in there, but you can't really tell completely until the hair is dry. Part 2 and part 3 will break down my next steps, which are toning my hair and then giving myself a haircut. Because the toning happens with my hair damp from washing out the bleach, I'm going to jump forward the 2 steps and show you once I was done with my toning and cut. Here is what it looked like. There's not many harsh lines in here. It's relatively blended. and I think it looks pretty natural. So this is kind of what I was going for, and the style that you can execute with this balayage bleaching. Stay tuned for part 2 and 3 where I do the toning and the cut.